Hey guys, welcome to this video breaking down how to put together your own SM7BS. So it's a DIY kit that takes a handheld microphone like this and turns it into an SM7B. And it sounds like an SM7B, but it's way more affordable. This is version 2 of this project, and we're gonna go over what comes with the kit and how to put it all together and some tools and parts you might need. Here are all the parts that come with the kit. The first is going to be the actual body of this project, and you'll notice that you will see 3D printed lines because this is 3D printed after all. And we also have a seam going down the back because the 3D printer has to hide where it finishes printing a layer and then moves up and starts printing the next. So we did that all by these screws here at the back of the microphone. Otherwise it's nice and smooth. So that's the first part. The next is going to be an insert that we now have on this version 2 that will allow you to use different microphones. So you can stick it in there and stick different smaller size microphones in there, or you can trim it, and we'll be talking about that in a little bit. The next thing we have is the grill itself, which I'm very proud of. It perfectly matches the dimensions of the original SM7B. So you'll be able to use any grill you want, or foam cover rather, and that just threads nicely over the whole setup like so. Next we have the mount, which has a couple of threads here for different mounting options, and that is keyed so it won't slide around once in place, and you just line it up with these two holes here. There's also a hole on the bottom for mounting the microphone. And last but not least, we have 3 M4x16 screws, which will be used to attach everything together. Now there are going to be some things that you need to purchase to make this kit work. The first is going to be an actual microphone. Due to popular request, the project now fully works out of the box with the Behringer Ultra Voice XM8500. It's a $20 microphone, and honestly, it sounds in a lot of ways better than the more expensive Shure microphone, which is also supported. So the Shure SM58, this is around a $100 microphone. Both of these will work. The XM8500 works out of the box. Once you have your microphone, you're also going to need some kind of foam cover. So this will go over the grill of the microphone. And again, anything that is officially made by Shure or unofficially by third parties that works for the SM7B will work on this. You just need to buy some SM7B cover, and that will work with the microphone. Next up, you will need some mounting hardware. So this is the mount of the microphone, and you can see there's threads in the middle there that are designed to work with one of these. This is a 5/8 to 3/8 interior thread, and from there you can also purchase a 3/8 to 1/4 inch thread so that your end product is something like this. You can add any ball mount to it, which is another optional accessory you can add, and I love using with these. But the idea is now you can have any mount or any thread option, and it'll work with your microphone. When it comes to tools you're going to need for this project, the main one is going to be a 2.5mm hex bit or hex Allen key so that you can tighten everything up using those M4 screws. It's also a good idea to have a quarter or similar currency to be able to tighten down your thread or your mount. You'll want some kind of masking tape, and if you're going to use the SM58, you'll also need a pair of scissors to be able to modify the insert that comes with the kit. Now let's start by putting everything together. The first thing you're going to want to do is take your microphone and locate the little mounting hole near the bottom. So there it is on the XM8500, and if I spin this microphone around, there you can see it on the SM58. We're going to wrap a piece of tape around that to protect it as much as possible from getting nicked up, and it'll help with fitment a little bit as well. So here I have a piece of masking tape. We're going to start with the 8500, and then we'll talk about mounting the SM58. So I'm just going to run it around the microphone. I don't know how long of strip you'll need, probably, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches. We'll just kind of throw that on there just like so. And now we're ready to stick this into the microphone mount. So I'm going to go ahead and insert it. It should be roughly flush with the bottom of the microphone there. Next, we are going to take one of our M4x16 screws, and we're going to go ahead and thread it in to make sure that the microphone doesn't rotate. So I'll go ahead and do that real quick. Don't over tighten it. You just want it to be able to hug the microphone. Now, if the microphone feels loose, you might want to take it back out, add a little more tape, or if it's way too tight and you couldn't get it flush at the bottom, remove a little bit of tape. With that done, we can now take off the grill of the XM8500 and you'll see that I have already added some black masking tape to hold down this metal washer. Otherwise that'll be flopping around. So if you're using the XM8500, make sure you add some tape to be able to hold that washer in place. So that's the XM8500. If you have the SM58 from Shure, skip to this timestamp to be able to see how this is fitted differently into the microphone. Otherwise, if you're just using the XM8500, you can continue watching. Next, we're going to turn our attention to the mount. There are threads on the center so that we can start working on inserting this 5/8 to 3/8 thread. So very carefully start threading it in, and you want to make sure as much as possible that it is remaining straight. It's not cockeyed anyway. And once you get it going, you can take your quarter, which I find is the easiest way to do this, and start threading it in. It's a nice tight fit, so it ought to be pretty strong, and we'll go ahead and get this done. It might get tight enough where it's easier to go ahead and grab something like a Leatherman or a pair of pliers, and that'll help you assist in getting this installed. It is rather tight, so take your time and try not to hurt yourself, but we're just going to be getting that nice and flush, or as flush as possible. And you don't want to go past, the back or the bottom on the inside there, but it should, with these little brass guys, pretty much be flush. Almost there. You can kind of hear it squealing as you reach the end. Okay, whew, that got me perspirating, but as you can see on this particular version, it's nice and flush there. Not all of them will be like that. And if you're going to be using a 1/4 20 ball mount or something like that, you can go ahead and grab your 3/8 to 1/4 inch adapter, and now we're done with all of that. Next, we're going to take our screws and go ahead and insert them into the mount like this. It might be kind of a tight fit, so you can take your screw here, use your screwdriver, and it should very loosely kind of thread through there. We're going to go ahead and send these all the way through until they start protruding through the other side like that. Once I have both of those ready, I can go ahead and grab our microphone mount, and we will line those screws up with the 2 holes here and here on the microphone body, just like so. And I'll go ahead and start to insert those screws and tighten them down. We want to do this equally on both sides so as not to over tighten and crack anything, and definitely don't want to over tighten this here. So just go until it's pretty darn snug like that. So now with that in place, we've got a nice, really strong microphone mount. If you want, you can go ahead and grab a ball head or something like that, throw that on so you have an easy way to adjust the angle of your microphone. Now we can take our grill and we'll go ahead and throw that on. Tighten it down. Again, don't overdo it and don't squeeze it too much this way. Just like that until it stops. Take your foam cover, put it on, and ladies and gentlemen, you just built for yourself the SM7BS. Grab your XLR microphone, throw it on the back, and you are good to go. One thing I should have done is lined up this microphone a little better, but you can rotate the microphone to have the cable going out any direction you particularly want. You could have the cable coming straight out, or you could buy a really fancy, angled XLR and use it with that. So if all you have is the XM8500, you're done. Congratulations, enjoy the microphone. If you have the SM58, let's talk about the differences when it comes to installing this microphone into the SM7BS. First, I want to mention that this project is designed for the SM58 that does not have a switch. So you can see I can rotate it around. There's no switch here. If yours has a switch, you're going to need to remove the switch because it won't fit in this mod. Now, I plan to at some point get my hands on one of those microphones and make changes to this project, but for now, it's only going to work with the smooth version unless you take out the switch yourself. So here I have the XM8500, and you can see that it sits flush with the bottom of the case. It's designed to fit out of the box. But if I take it out and we take our SM58 and stick it through, you'll notice it sticks way too far past. Now you could just leave it like that, send in the screw, and you'll be done. But I would recommend using the built-in insert that comes with the kit. So we're gonna go ahead and take the microphone out like so, set it down here. We'll insert this guy, and you can see it sits flush with the top and the bottom, and you can attempt to insert the microphone, but you might run into one more issue. Now it's too far inserted. So this thing is a little oversized or too tight, but we can modify it. And the reason for this is we can use other microphones, maybe that I've never heard of. A lot of you guys have been sending me photos of wild handheld microphones. So try the insert. If it doesn't work, we can do some trimming on this guy to make it fit. So as an example, here you can see the stock insert. There's a little slit here so that it can kind of expand and shrink and whatnot. Here I have another one. You can see it is a much wider hole here. I actually cut all of that off. So here are the pieces for that. You can just take some scissors and literally go down and cut those off. And with that done, we can now stick this all the way through the microphone mount and start trimming the base to make our microphone fit perfectly. And this is how you can make the SM58 work, as well as really any other microphone, as long as it's not too big for this mod. So with this thing pulled, I don't know, about halfway through, I'm gonna stick in the microphone and see if it fits. And you can see it's pretty much flush there. So once you find the spot where it's flush, you can take some masking tape, or really any tape, or a white marker or something. We'll take it off and go ahead and mark on the adapter here where we're going to actually cut this thing. So with that marked off, we will remove our microphone and we'll remove the adapter. So here we have the adapter. We know we need to cut right here. So I'll grab my scissors and get to work on that. I'm just gonna literally start cutting this thing. It might crack like that, that's okay. We'll just snap it off and we'll trim things up, clean it up. Now we have our customized insert. So we'll go ahead and stick it back in the microphone and run it all the way down until it's flush with the bottom. Next we'll grab our microphone and we'll go ahead and insert it until we get it nice and flush with the bottom of the microphone, as you can see here. I'll go ahead and rotate it until I find a good spot for the XLR to exit. So however you want the cable to come out, whether that be angled or straight. And then we can go ahead and tighten up our screw, which I still have in here from the XM8500. Something like that. Now the microphone is super duper solid. At this point, we can take off the thread of the microphone, or the grill rather, the one that comes with it. And you want to make sure that that's being unthreaded, not this whole upper area, because this section can be disconnected from the handle. And with that done, you can proceed with taking the grill, inserting it onto the microphone, and all the other steps that we've already talked about. Then you'll have an SM58 ready to rock and roll in your SM7BS case. So that is going to wrap up this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for the support for purchasing this kit. Also, thank you guys so much for all of the feature requests and different ideas you guys have. Keep sending them. I'll keep working on the project. Maybe we'll see a version 3 of this, and you can keep track of all the different updates at camerafoundry.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next update or next product video.